I'm honored to have been invited to the 2014 International Convention for Democracy, and I send my deep regrets that I'm unable to attend. This is an important time to be discussing the prospects for democracy and the protection of fundamental human rights in Iran. We can't allow the negotiations over a nuclear agreement overshadow the human rights situation in Iran that grows worse and worse each day. The people of Iran continue to face severe and systematic abuses of their civil, political, economic, social, and cultural rights. And as the Iranian regime continues to suppress the rights of its citizens, it fosters instability throughout the region and sponsors terrorism across the globe. More must be done to comprehensively address the challenges posed by the Iranian regime and counter the threat their dangerous actions pose. It's vitally important that the United States do more to assist the residents of Camp Ashraf and Camp Liberty. The United States government gave a promise of protection to the residents of Camp Ashraf in return for their decision to lay down their arms. We must recognize that the United States has a responsibility to fulfill this guarantee and ensure that our failed promise does not become a stain on the reputation of the United States of America. Thank you all for being here and for your dedication to a just cause. I encourage all of you to continue your fight for democracy and human rights, not only in Iran, but across the globe. I promise I will never give up till everyone in Camp Ashraf and Liberty are free to go wherever they want, hopefully many to the United States of America.
This is Senator Carl Levin. Thank you for the opportunity to extend my best wishes to the Iranian diaspora in convention in France. These are days of extraordinary challenge for people across the Middle East. Violence, civil war, and repression are a threat to the security and liberty of millions. Ethnic, religious, and political minorities are especially vulnerable. It is essential that the United States play an active role in promoting security and freedom in the region, and that is especially true with regard to Iran. There is no question but that repression, violence, and human rights violations continue in Iran, especially against minorities and women. I also join in your calls on Iraq to secure the safety of the residents of Camp Liberty, to prevent further harm from those who are doing the harm to those who still live there, and to hold accountable those responsible for violence against the camp's residents. While a small portion of the Camp Liberty residents have been resettled safely outside of Iraq, it remains imperative that the international community, including the United States, provide a safe home for all the camp residents. We look forward to the day when free, democratic governments are in power in the Middle East, governments that uphold universal values of human rights and liberty. I thank you for your commitment to work toward that goal in Iran.
Bonjour, salam, durud. Hello and greetings to all of you gathered today in Paris. This year, we joined in solidarity in Paris in remembrance of the deadly rocket attacks on Camp Liberty, and to demand that the people in Camp Liberty be able to live without fear and uncertainty. The day is coming, my friends, when the people in this camp are no longer the targets of terrorist acts, no longer the victims of violence, no longer left unprotected. I have called on the government of Iraq and the United States government again and again to do more to ensure the safety and security of the people at Camp Liberty. And I am heartened that Iraqi leaders and administration officials now seem to understand how critical the safety and security of Camp Liberty residents are to me and many of my colleagues in the United States Senate. I call on Iraqi officials to do everything in their power to prevent further attacks. I told Prime Minister Maliki in person last year that his commitment to the safety and security of the MEK members at Camp Liberty is a critical factor in my future support for any assistance to Iraq. I want to acknowledge the important role played by the MEK leadership in exposing the duplicity of the regime in Tehran. We all know who ultimately holds power in Iran and who makes decisions. Iran's leadership has deliberately armed and trained Iraqi Shia militias to bleed U.S. forces in Iraq. It is a state sponsor of terrorism, and this will not change regardless of what happens at the negotiating table in Vienna or what happens in Iraq. The fact is, Iran is interested in working with us only to the extent that it protects its interests in pursuing its regional hegemonic goals. The fact is, Iran is a destabilizing influence throughout the region and continues to actively cultivate a network of terrorists and violent proxies across the Middle East. I've made clear to the U.S. administration officials that the safety and security of the MEK members at Camp Liberty must continue to be a priority. For that, we stand in solidarity together. My thoughts and prayers are with you.
Hello, I am Ed Royce, Chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee in the United States House of Representatives in the Congress. The issue that I wanted to talk to you about was the Iranian regime and how the Iranian regime continues to involve itself in very serious human rights abuses, even as we here today discuss a situation that we had hoped would be better. But here Iran is on pace to surpass the number of executions without due process from last year. And this is under President Rouhani. But I think we should remember that this is a man who called on the regime's besieged militia to crush mercilessly and monumentally the student protesters. He is the man who appointed as his Minister of Justice a person responsible for the summary execution of so many people in the late 1980s without trial or due process. Rouhani is a creature of the regime, pure and simple. And that is why we should be speaking out against these abuses. Unfortunately, I fear that the Obama administration's engagement with Iran has signaled to them that we are focused on its nuclear program alone, no matter how many innocent men or women are being beaten or tortured or raped or killed. If Iran and the P5+1 come to an agreement next month that allows the regime to retain much of its critical nuclear infrastructure in place, the Obama administration will essentially be trusting the regime that holds the noose in one hand to hold the keys to a nuclear bomb in the other. And in doing so, they will again fail to grasp the concept that promoting human rights, promoting democracy in Iran, and improving our national security, in fact, go hand in hand. Thank you.